It's Ms. Adelson here for another Read Aloud. Today we're going to read Nature's Patchwork Quilt, Understanding Habitats. This is an informational text all about different habitats or the places where animals and plants live and thrive. Look into nature and you will see a patchwork of beauty and mystery. A patchwork quilt has many pieces that fit together to make a beautiful blanket. Nature is like a patchwork quilt. It has many different habitats all pieced together to create our wonderful planet. In a habitat such as a forest, animals and plants live together. They are food for each other and help the forest grow and develop. Each plant or animal depends on others, like a quilt stitched together. We call this interdependence. A desert is another habitat, with plants and animals that can live in a hot and dry climate. In a quilt, each piece has its own unique place in the design. In a habitat, each animal and plant has a special role called its niche. A prairie is a grassland habitat. Some prairies have prairie dogs that eat roots and plants. Snakes eat the prairie dogs. Hawks eat the snakes. This is called a food chain. The prairie plants are the first link, prairie dogs are the second, snakes are the third, and hawks at the top of the food chain are the fourth link. The ocean, which has 97% of all the water on Earth, has many different habitats. Ocean water near the surface contains very tiny plants called phytoplankton. Tiny animals called zooplankton eat phytoplankton. Tiny shrimp called krill eat zooplankton. Little fish called sardines eat krill. Salmon eat sardines. Shark or seals eat salmon. This is one marine food chain. The seashore at the edge of the ocean also has many habitats. Different plants and animals live in the shallow water on the rocks and in the sand. Over generations, plants and animals often change in ways that help them survive. For instance, the feet of swimming birds changed to have webbing which helped them swim better than their ancestors did. Some fish can change colors to help them hide or camouflage themselves. Such changes are called adaptation. Lakes and ponds have many tiny plants and animals living in them. They are very small, but you can see them with a magnifying glass or a special tool called a microscope. These microscopic plants and animals are food for each other. The way that these plants and animals eat and are eaten is so complicated that we call it a food web. Arctic and high mountain habitats are very cold much of the year. It's a tough place to live. To survive harsh climates, plants either stay alive all winter under snow or make seeds that can survive the cold. Animals store up food to survive in burrows or hibernate in caves. Birds fly to warmer places. Waves ways of adjusting to the climate are called survival mechanisms. Rainforest habitats are very wet. Cool rainforests are temperate, such as in North America and New Zealand. Hot rainforests are tropical, such as South America, Africa, and Southern Asia. Many rainforest trees are large. Many are cut down. This is called deforestation. Fewer places are left for plants and animals that can only survive in a rainforest. Rainforests have lots and lots and lots of different kinds of trees, shrubs, mosses, lichens, fungi, insects, reptiles, amphibians, birds, and mammals. Many different species together make up biodiversity. Houses, towns, and cities are habitats for people. People built them over what once was a prairie, desert, forest, or rainforest. People have changed some plants and animals by working with them over generations. Dogs, cats, and farm animals, as well as many plants that produce food, are very different from their wild ancestors. When plants and animals are changed by people, we call it domestication. Ranches and farms are also habitats made by people on what was once prairie, forest, or desert. Often domesticated animals like cows, horses, pigs, and chickens live there. Domesticated plants like tomatoes, corn, and wheat also grow there. More and more natural habitats are being taken over by human habitats. When a natural habitat is gone and plants or animals don't have any place left to live, they die. When the last plant or animal of a species dies, the species is extinct. Because plants and animals can't speak for themselves, many environmentalists have worked hard to save them by preserving their habitats. They clean up rivers, plant trees, help animals, study science, paint pictures, write songs, write books, give speeches, make movies, persuade policymakers, give money, organize friends, and much more. When you are in nature, look around at its beauty. Consider how all the plants and animals live together in an interdependent web of life. The end. So, as we were reading this, there was a lot of literal language, and we've talked about literal language before in class. Literal language is when what you said is exactly what you mean. But there's also a good amount of figurative language in this story. And figurative language is when you don't mean exactly what you're saying. For example, calling nature a patchwork quilt is figurative language. We have right here on this page, it says, nature is like a patchwork quilt. A quilt is a blanket. Is nature actually a blanket? No. But it has characteristics that help us to imagine how all those different pieces fit together, like the pieces of a patchwork quilt. So I'm going to post some questions for you guys to think about and answer in Class Dojo, so please go back and check that out so you can leave your answers for me either in the comments of that class story, or you can send me a message through Class Dojo with your answers. I look forward to hearing from you all. Bye!